Hello, I'm Amara Jones, and welcome to Caffeine TV, your daily video news brief, here to take you through 3 headline numbers in just 3 minutes, giving you a different take on everything from housing policy to Real Housewives. The first number up to date is 40. That's the number of people who were initially taken hostage in the Lint store in Sydney, Australia, by a lone gunman, Mr. Manas, an Iranian national who was granted asylum in Australia. Now, as we're filming, Australian authorities are storming the Lint store in Sydney. Now, no, we're not talking about Lint as in what's on your clothes. We're talking about the coffee and chocolatier in Martin's Place, at the heart of the political, financial, and retail centers of Australia's largest city. Now, when he initially took over the cafe, Mr. Manas unfurled a shahada, which is that black flag with Arabic script, which says that there is only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Many people thought that it was the ISIS flag, but it's not. Regardless, this situation does show, however, the tension, to put it mildly, between the Muslim community in Australia and Australia as a whole. As a matter of fact, Australia is in the top 5 of countries with foreign nationals fighting in ISIS. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, the tensions between these two communities were set off in 2005 when 2 white lifeguards beat up Muslim beachgoers. That then turned into a situation in which 5,000 white Australians descended on the beach and beat up anyone with brown skin. But today, the exact opposite is happening. White Australians have created the hashtag I'll Ride With You in order to ride with or walk with voluntarily Muslims who fear reprisals for these attacks. So far it's bringing out the best in people, but this is a fast-moving situation, so please stay up to date with us on Facebook and Twitter. The next number up today is 100,000. That's the number of people who turned out to protest the killing of unarmed black men at the hands of police in demonstrations across the country on Saturday. The largest was the Millions March NYC in New York City at 50,000, followed by the 25,000 strong Justice for All March in Washington, D.C. Both marches were funded by the victims' families in some of the highest profile cases, and you know their names. Now, what struck me is how many people turned out in such a short amount of time. These protests were only organized in the last 2 weeks, which shows that people showed up not only for Trayvon and Michael and Eric and Sean and all the rest, but also for themselves. People of color marching said that they were there to talk about and to spotlight the fear and indignities constantly suffered at the hands of the police, while white people were there to express rage at the existence of 2 unequal systems of justice and police attention. One man held up a sign that says, "I'm out here today because they don't shoot old white men like me." And so the scale and diversity of these protests shows the breadth of the problem. The last number up today is 6, as in page 6. Now, that's the title of the New York Post column in which Bill Cosby yesterday finally broke his silence in the allegations of nearly 24 women, corroborated by his former fixer, that he drugged, raped, and assaulted them. Now, what he said was interesting, if not odd. He said that black media ought to remain, quote, neutral, close quote. The person he was talking to was a black woman, the author of the article. And then he went on to praise the, quote, womanhood, close quote, of his wife, Camille. Maybe that's because she's had to put up with all his... But regardless, these comments give insight into the way in which he's actually able to keep things so secret over the years. He's played off the power and symbol of his black singularity in American life to shame people to remain quiet. The problem is that now this is a different world than the one in which Bill Cosby built his career, where once upon a time media news was dominated by 3 voices. Now hundreds of millions of voices are the ones that matter, and those are so strong now that institutions have to respond to them. After these comments, Spelman College canceled or suspended an academic program which bears his name. And so all of this just goes to show that this is not a situation in which a cute dance with Rudy will sweep it all away.